To create a mortgage requirement from within a client record within XPLAN Mortgage, simply select New Requirement on the Requirements tab and choose to add a mortgage. This will allow you to key in the loan details, property details, any preferences or filters, additional applicant details, credit history and client financial details. We'll start with the loan details. So I'm going to give it a name and I'm going to call it a remortgage. Okay, I'm going to choose the purpose as remortgage. Remortgage reason is a standard remortgage in this instance. It's a residential loan on a repayment basis. The property value is £200,000. The client's existing mortgage is £70,000. And if they wish to have any additional borrowing, I could input that detail here. I'm then going to select the existing mortgage, and we keyed this into this fact find earlier in one of our previous videos. So I've selected that and I'll detail the existing mortgage provider. So let's say it is with the Nationwide Building Society. They currently pay £460 a month and they have 18 years left on their mortgage. Okay, now I can source from here, but if I wish to do so, I can insert additional information using the fields on the left or the navigation bar on the bottom right. Okay, so I'll show you these screens in order. So details of the property to be mortgaged. We already assigned an address when completing the fact find, so I can pop in the property address here, and I can also detail the property type. So I'm going to say it's a house, it's their main residence, it's in England, it's freehold, it's standard construction, and it's not a new build. Okay, now obviously this is very much a standard case that we're sourcing for here. You don't have to enter this information, it is not mandatory, but if you have anything that maybe makes it niche, if it's a new build property, if it's concrete construction, if it's a freehold flat, anything like that, I would definitely recommend completing those fields. Okay, I can also enter in here if there is builder deposit, vendor deposit, if it's self-build, if there's a refurb required, or anything like that by selecting the relevant tick boxes within the centre section. Okay, we're then going to look at preferences and filters, so I'm going to navigate using the bottom right button. Okay, now I have an option here where, as I'm going through my conversation with my client, it may be that I list their preferences by asking them the questions listed here. So things like, is it important to them to avoid the uncertainty of interest rate changes by fixing their mortgage payments? Is it important that there's no tie-in during or after a fixed or discounted or capped rate? Is it important there are low or no initial fees? Is it important to add the fees to the loan, etc.? You do not have to enter this information. However, if you do, and then you select apply preferences, it will apply those preferences on the requirement for you. So let's say this client is looking for a fixed rate. It is important to them to have a fixed rate. That's their preference from the outset, and that is their agreed preference. Now, I could put some notes in about this if I wish to do so by clicking the notes button, and I could enter that information in here. Okay. Let's say it's also important to them that there's no extended tie-in. Okay. And let's say it's very important because it's a remortgage that they have free legals. Okay. And low or no initial fees. Okay, there we go. So I selected the information that's important to the clients. It's up to you how much of this you respond to. You do not have to answer any of these questions if you don't wish to do so. You could just input the filters. But as it is, I've answered the questions that I wish to do so, and I'm going to click the button to apply the preferences. The system will tell me once the preferences have been applied in the top green box. Okay, if I scroll back up now and if I go to the filters tab, I'll be able to see that the system has now selected a fixed rate for me. If I look on product features, it's also ticked no arrangement or booking fees, no valuation fees, no early repayment fee overhang, and also free legals. Okay, if I go back to the filters section, what I'd also like to do within here, I'm going to select a 2-year initial term, and I'm going to choose that the total to pay is calculated over 2 years. Okay, and again, I'm going to use the navigation bar on the bottom now to go to the applicant screen. So it's got details of my applicants here, and these are the details that we keyed in earlier when I created the client. They're going to go through to the credit history. So this pulls through their credit history information that I already keyed in when I completed the fact find. And then I'm going to go to financial details, and this has brought through the client's income, again, that I keyed in when I created the fact find on these clients earlier. Now all I need to do is go to source, And the system is going to take that client information and their requirements into account, and it's going to bring me back a table of results. Okay, so I can see here there are 208 products that match the criteria. Now it's up to me how I sort those products. I can sort by any of these titles that are in blue. It's automatically sorted on mine by initial rate, and I know that because it has the little 2 triangles next to it. But if I wish to base my recommendation on total to pay, I just select that heading towards the right hand side of the table of results, and it will resort my results by the lowest total to pay. Okay. So I can see here that the actual lowest total to pay is this Accord Mortgages product. It's 1.99%, and their initial payment would be £385.84 per month. Okay. If I wish to see more information on that product, I can see that on the tile on the right hand side. So I can see the rate information on the front page. If I select total to pay, I can see how the total to pay has been calculated. If I click the button that says show fees on the bottom right of that tile, I can see all of the relevant fees relating to that product, and if I click the notes button on the bottom left of that tile, it will open me all of the notes relating to that product that have been provided by the lender. Okay, and here we can see the notes. So here are all the salient notes, and if I wish to print that for my records, I can do so from here. Okay, as it is, I'll close out of that. Now, it may be that that is the cheapest product, but there are other things to concern myself with. And actually, what I would like to do is see several products at once or compare some products side by side. Very easy to do that. All I need to do is tick the products that I want to compare on the left. So let's choose that Accord product, this Principality product, and this Coventry product. Okay. And then if I select the product comparison tab, I can see all of the relevant product details side by side here on this one page. So this is a very useful feature. I can see not only the rates and the payment information, also the fee information and all of the relevant notes relating to the product. So very useful function there, that you can see the relevant notes side by side. And it might be that when doing that, you find that the product you're originally going to recommend may not be suitable. Okay, so as you're scrolling through the notes, there may be something that makes you realise actually this product isn't suitable for the client. It's a very easy thing to do. If you scroll back to the top and you just put that product into the bin, essentially. So if I'm going to put the Principality one in the bin and the Coventry one in the bin for whatever reason, when I've gone through the notes, if I go back to my mortgage products now, I simply have that Accord one left. Okay, now what I can do from here is I could produce that product list report. So to do that, next to the filters button, I have this drop down and I just select product list report. And the system will now generate me a PDF product list report, which it will automatically save against this client record within XPLAN Mortgage. So if I show you that one, make it a little larger. Here's a product list report. It's got my applicant details on, the loan details on. It's also got the security details and additional features, followed by my first 50 results in this instance. Okay, so if I close that, I don't have to save it separately. It will automatically save that. Now, to produce an illustration for this product, all I do is select the illustrations button on the bottom right. And I can see here, this is the product I've selected, and I can firstly do an affordability review. So I earlier did a fact find on this client. I put in all of their expenditure and it's telling me whether this product is affordable. Okay, so it's telling me that actually it's at risk based on the current expenditure on this mortgage. It's 60% of their income, but that's fine. And it's also telling me at 4.99 it would be stretched, and at the stress test rate of 6.99 it would also be stretched. Now these results, you can still see it's only still 64% of their income, so I'm happy for that to proceed and the system will not prevent me from doing so. If I close that button or that box, then I can go to generate the illustration. Okay, so I selected generate illustration and now I can choose the details within here. So I'm going to pop my phone number in. Okay, this is an advised mortgage and it's a regulated mortgage. I have my company name, my intermediary address in here. I can then add in a broker fee. So if I charge a fee for my advice, I can add that. I'm going to say it's payable to IRESS. It's payable on application and it is £250. I then check the product fees. So it shows the related product fees here. If there are any additional fees, they would show in there. And if I had the ability to add any to the loan, it would give me a tick box allowing me to add them to the loan. I then choose the relevant proc fee. So dependent upon which mortgage club or network I'm a part of, you can see there's a list here. I choose the one that suits me. So let's say I'm a member of Legal and General. I'll select that and I'll put in the information here. It's payable to Legal and General. I check that my complaints details are all correct. Okay, and once you put those in once, they will always save for future illustrations. And then I click the Generate Illustration button. Okay, system has now generated me an illustration in a PDF format. In this case, it's a KFI Plus. It could possibly be an ESIS document. It depends on the lender. So the lender specifies what type of document is generated. Okay, so we can see a standard KFI Plus here. If I close that without saving it, system will auto save it. Okay, what I could then do is tick the recommend product box and I can put in the reason that I'm recommending the product. Let's say because it is the most cost effective product for the clients. Okay, and save that. And then I can generate the suitability report from here also. Okay, now we will go into more detail on the suitability report in the later video, so please do check that video for generating your suitability and amending your suitability report. As it is, we have done our illustration for the client, and if I go to my client record by selecting the client information at the top right, it will take me back to their client summary screen. And I can see here the documents that I've created within the recent documents tile. So I can see there is the mortgage illustration that we produced. There is the product list report that we produced. And on the requirements tile in the top right, I can see that is the requirement that I've done today. Okay, thank you very much.